Good evening. Good evening. My name is Obindako. Welcome. Welcome. I want to share with you what I call financial education, and specifically, we hear of good debt and we hear of bad debt. We hear of good debt and we hear of bad debt, and our understanding of this will show how much financial prosperity that we can enjoy, the financial success that we can enjoy. I think that the world is structured in a way to keep a lot of people perpetually struggle to liberate themselves out of financial pain and financial struggle. I think the world is set such that most people's attention will never be on how to have their financial freedom early in their lives. I think that the world will applaud us. The world is structured to make us happy and more committed to ceremonies and things that give us some kind of happiness for just a little time, and then the rest of it we go home and we cry. The world seems to agree on a lot of things that don't bring people liberty in terms of finances, because when our finances are right, there's a lot of control that we will have. But if you look at this world, if you look at how things are done, they are done such that a lot of people will never have financial freedom. So we could be sleeping all our lives, calling something that we know as financial knowledge or financial education, or thinking that what we know will be able to give us a leverage in terms of finances. But by the time you see it, we are halfway through our lives, and we look beyond that and we see that there is very much little that we can do to change our financial situation. And in this world, if your finances are not right, if you don't get your money in a certain status, all other things seem to be a worry, because where you work, where you live, what you wear, where your children go to school, what you drive, finances they have a lot to do with almost everything. They say that when you don't have much of money, you always think of it. They say that there has to be a certain amount of money that you have to have, or you will think of it all your life. Now, if you look at our society, I think that because the financial education has been put somewhere, we all have a way of just trying to make a living, and most often we go against our values, we go against our ethics, we go against the things that we hold dearly, our honesty, our character, our value for lives, because our financial education is low. And if our financial education is low, then the other things that we just have to do to get by, we will just do them. And so we will buy that car, we will build that house, all through ways and means, because we did not get the right foundation, the right education in terms of finances. So I want to share briefly with you what they call good debt and what they call bad debt. Financial success, I think that falls within risk-taking, business, entrepreneurship, building companies, more than any other areas of our society, of our economy. So people who take risk have a better chance of getting financial success more than any other group in any society. That is, if the society is fair, is honest, and if people do things with character. The communities that around the world, countries or cultures, everywhere that you go, the people who control a lot of money are people who are solving problems, who have built companies, who have built investment, who have established businesses. those people seem to have more financial leverage than the rest of the people. And so because those people seem to have financial leverage, when it comes to debt to the business people, the entrepreneurs seem to have more of it than any other group in the society. And so it means that if you want to be financially free, and you want to create prosperity for yourself and for your business or for your country, then you see that you cannot just look at debt as the rest of the community or of the people look at it. And so the people who control a lot of wealth, the understanding of what is called debt is different from the understanding of the rest of the people. So they see debt differently than the rest of the people. So, but in any environment when corruption is prevalent, financial skill, financial knowledge is compromised, and that's why the masses suffer. And so when we are talking of financial prosperity, financial education, we are talking of debt, we are talking of whether it's good, whether it's bad, and how to use it to create prosperity. If the environment, if our country, people do a lot of corrupt deals to have money, then financial knowledge is not valued. Financial understanding is not valued, because people have all kind of ways of creating, their own money, so to say. And so until we start to set an environment where a lot of ethics apply to how money is created, how people get their revenue, people will not appreciate financial prosperity. And in that case, majority of the people will be poor, and the very few crook, dishonest people will be the ones who will want to act as if they have money. But usually it's not that they have money, it's because they were able to cheat and lie and do a lot of wrong deeds against the society. So if this thing becomes a culture where people's way of making money is just through ways and means, it's just through wrong contracts, wrong deals, political things, business people who only do business with government agencies, they write all kind of things. If that is how people make money, the masses will never see any benefit of financial education at all. And so you will see that the culture, or the people, can live for 50 years, 100 years, and yet their financial education will still be very much minimal, because the way people make money is not ethical. And because it's not ethical, they don't really build the financial know-how to create the wealth. So the financial know-how of the poor is poor, and that's why they are poor. The poor, the average, the people who worry about money all the time, the people who if they don't work the next 3 days or the next 1 month or the next 2 months, it is going to be trouble. Their children may not go to school, they may not be able to pay their rent, they may not be able to do a lot of things that they want to do. The difference between them and the other people who control a lot of wealth is the financial know-how, the financial knowledge that they know. And so the rich understand debt differently, and the poor understand debt. And most poor people, or most average people who have not studied finance well in terms of using it as a tool to create wealth, see debt as an opportunity to buy a house, to buy a car, to pay school fees, to buy TV, to do their weddings, to do their funerals, to do their, the things that are important, that people will think that they're successful. Most people, if they have access to debt, if they have weak financial understanding, the only way that they use the debt is to go and bury their grandmother who died, or their mother who died. They have access to loan, so they take that to go and do the funeral. Or they have access to loan, so they take that to buy a nice car. They have access to loan, so they take that to buy a nice house or to build a house. They have access to loan, so they use that to go and get another degree. They have access to loan, so they use the loan for things that will not bring any returns that quickly. And so that is what the people who have created wealth, people who see debt as a tool to create wealth, that is not the kind of debt that they use. That is not the kind of debt that they use. They use the debt for their advantage. But to the masses, to many people, because the things that, the way the world is structured said that the very things that will make people free and control their destinies and their time, those things, the people have been one way or the other conditioned not to see them as important. So when it comes to the entertainment and the jam and all those things, you see that they involve every one of us. But when it comes to the things that will make you take hold of your destiny, that will make you take hold of your time, they create a lot of controversies around them. So the debt, most people, they will just give you the debt. You are there, they will call you and say, oh, if you're a government worker, come for money to buy TV. You know, come for money to pay your children's school fees, come for money to go and do your wedding, come for money to go and do your mother's funeral. Those things are debt that is, they are the debt that the poor or the average look up to. And that's what they use. If you take money or if you take a loan, and the loan is to go into something, that thing will, and that thing can never pay that loan that quickly with its interest and still keep running to bring revenue to you, that was a bad debt. And so if you use debt to go and buy TV, big TV in your sitting room, and you and your children are watching, and nobody is paying any fee for watching that TV, that is a bad debt. You don't need a loan to buy that. So consumer debt is really what they call bad debt. You don't need that much. You can live off those. If you want to take, if they want to give you 2,000 Ghana cedis or 5,000 Ghana cedis to go and buy TV for your bedroom or for your hall, you really don't need that. You might as well go and buy a second-hand TV, which is 200 Ghana cedis and watch. It's the same pictures. So to the poor, they take the debt, they take the loan for things that will not pay back that loan. You know, so they want to tell everybody that they are rich, so they buy a nice car. Meanwhile, your car that you're using is good, but they will push you. They say that, oh, you are an area manager of this, so they want you to use Kia Picanto or something, Kia something, Mercedes-Benz. And they are not paying you, they are using your salary, they bond it. And they pay for you, they make you sign the loan, and so that you can look like rich. You don't need that kind of loan. You need the loan if you are taking the loan. The good debt is the loan that you're taking, that you're using it to build a business, that the business can pay back that loan quickly with its interest. And you still have the business, we still have the business running, so that you can have benefit out of that seed that you invested in the business. Something like that is what the rich people focus on. And so they want to build, say, a hotel. The hotel will cost them maybe 5 million Ghana cedis. They don't have that kind of money. And so, okay, they do their numbers and they think that is right. Okay, maybe they can pay that money with its interest if nothing seriously happens, maybe in 3 years. Now they go for that loan to build that hotel. They have the expertise to run that hotel. And maybe in our country, the loan interest is suicidal anyway. So you must as well be very, very crafty and very skilled to go for a loan in our country. 40% a year is not something sustainable, but some people have the skill. And if they have the skill, they can go for that loan, build a hotel, run it well. And after 3 years, they would have paid back whoever gave them the loan, and the hotel will still be running. That is something that they use, and so they can build, they can go for another big loan, 50 million, 100 million. Because if you get a big project, for instance, maybe you're a contractor, maybe you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, they give you a project which is maybe 100 million, and they say that come and guarantee that. Now the instrument that you're taking from the bank to guarantee that is debt. If anything goes bad, that will hang on your neck. You cannot just go off free. Now, to the average person, nobody will give you 10% of that. Say, come and guarantee 10% of 100 million. To the average person, they will never give you that, because your salary is what? Maybe 5,000, 10,000, 2,000, 3,000. So nobody will give you that kind of thing. But to the man who understands how to use debt, he's not afraid to go for that 10% of that, guarantee it, because he doesn't have that. Most often, his money is not just sitting down for him to go and do that. Or maybe he needs 20% of that money to start that project. The bank is ready to give him so far as he can provide all the necessary tools. But it is debt, because he has done his numbers and he knows that after 3, 4, 5 years, this project can be beneficial to me. And so to most people in the world, They have told us that, oh, you just need a credit card so that you can go and pay all the things. It's debt, but it's debt that will not make you free ever. Even the one that you think that is the most, they tell you that even the house that you built with loan or bought with loan is an asset or is a good debt. Not necessarily. If you live in, it's not necessarily a good debt. How you are using 15 years to go and pay, and by the time you pay it, the market may be down. the house that is 200,000 may if you were to sell it, maybe just be maybe 150,000 or so. So consumer debt, whether if you are using it on yourself, it is not a good debt. The debt that you want to use is the one that you are using to build businesses, to build investments that can pay off that debt without anything coming from your pocket. So the business is able to regenerate that. So maybe I have a project, I go for that loan, I'm able to pay that loan and get profit from it. That is a good debt. Now, most people, just as we are, people with weak financial knowledge will tell you that every debt is bad. Every debt is bad. That's what they tell us. And so people are scared. Instead of us learning how to use it, they will say that it's bad. It is bad to the one who has only started to build business. It is bad to the one who does not know how to use it well. It is bad to the one who is going to use it for the fancifulness, the fancies, the houses, the cars that they are driving, the shoes, the nice shoes that they bought with a credit card, the nice phone. You work, they pay you 2,000, and your phone is 5,000. That's a bad debt, and you bought that, and they are taking maybe 300 every month from your pay for the next 2 years. You don't need that kind of thing. See, because the financial knowledge is weak for us, we don't even see that once you start to take that part, it means that the ones that will make you build wealth, you will never even have time to study them. Because you think that once you have access to that money, it means that just show your phone, show your car, show your clothes, let people understand that you have money. It is not your money. It's just consumer debt. And most people are using that now, especially those guys who work in these banks and these multinationals. You see them with nice houses, nice cars, and it's all the money that they took from the bank that they are working to pay. I would rather take that money and build something that will pay off that money that quickly, and I will still have that business. But so if I want to take that, probably I will look at numbers and build an apartment with it, or build a business with it, or whatever you can do, so that you are not the one sweating to pay that debt. If you have to sweat salary every day to pay that debt, how about if they fire you from your job place? What do? You went for that money to buy a land or to build a house, and then 3 years the company collapses. What do you do? What do you do? How do you handle that? You see, you will live in constant panic and fear because you're only servicing the debt with your salary. And before you get salary, it is your blood. You have to work before they'll pay you. And so you don't use your blood to pay the debt. The business must pay the debt, not you. And so the debt that you need is not the debt that is for food. It's for clothes. It's for housing. No. You use the debt. The debt is used as a tool to create wealth. But to the poor, debt is for self-destruction. To the poor and to the average, the people with weak financial understanding, debt is for self-destruction. But to the rich, debt is an instrument for wealth creation. And even they have to really have the skill to maintain the borders, because at a certain point, it can also become destructive. And so the world is structured for masses, for a lot of us, not to understand how to use debt as a tool to create wealth. We rather use it as a tool to self-destruct. So consumer debt is self-destruction. The one that you're using to pay your school fees, the one that you're using to do the weddings and to buy nice TVs and phones, the clothes, the cars, even the houses that you don't pay for themselves. They told us that their asset is only, those kind of languages are only for the poor. To the very rich, they think differently. So you use debt through business to create wealth. That is when debt, and with its interest, the business is able to pay the debt with its interest. Or for a project, a profit is made to pay the debt. And if anything happens along the line, the business person does not run away. He's able to stay to correct that. You learn how to use debt for the good, not for the bad. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about financial education and what they call good debt and bad debt. And you just have to study that subject well yourself if you want to create prosperity. Majority of the world's population will never understand it, because you never had access to $1,000, and now they can put 10,000 on your credit card and say use it. And to the average man who was coming from a village, if they put 10,000 on his credit card, he thinks that they have helped him. So by the time he sees it, the 10,000 is 20,000, and he only use it to eat from the restaurant. That is a consumer debt. It's destructive. It is destructive. I remember when we started some of our projects and we went for some loans, and the projects didn't work out well. Now that was even a business. A lot of things happen in between. If I was just an individual, nobody would have given us those kind of money to go and buy TV and buy and build houses to live in. It was a project that we took those debt for, and the project became bad, dangerously bad. What did we do? We just had to stay and make sure that we built another business to correct that error. Now, if you're an individual and it was not a business debt, how would you handle that? To destroy you. Sometimes it could take you 10 years and you still cannot pay it, because our financial education is everything. How we understand some of these things will, because you see, life is that short. By the time you see it, you're 50 years, you're 30 years, you're 40 years, you're 100, you're 40 years, you're that quick. And yet you did not even educate yourself financially. And so when you listen to some people and they told you that, oh, you come, we'll give you this money for this gadget, you went. And every day you are paying, and it doesn't finish, you don't finish paying it. And what did you use that money for? For some things that money did not, that thing that you bought that money with did not work by itself to pay that debt. That's exactly what I mean. If anything that you are going to use debt to pay, that thing should work itself to pay with all the interest within an agreed time. If that thing is not going to work to pay, you don't need loan to buy that one. That one you buy with your money. So if the nice TV that you're going to buy is not going to work to pay that 3,000 or 4,000, and you had to go to UT Bank to any bank to go and take money to buy that TV that you are hanging in your room, you didn't need it. If that house that you are going to build, and if they had to give you loan to build that house, and when you finish building, maybe before you're paying 200 month rent, now they gave you 300,000 loan, and probably you are paying premium 30% a year. That's killing. No matter how much your salary have, no matter how much salary you have, that is a bad financial decision. That's killing. You say that, oh, the house will appreciate. Who said? Who said about the house will appreciate? Who told you that the house will appreciate more than the interest that you're paying on the house? And who told you that you will not use any money to maintain that house for it to be in a good condition if you were to even sell it? And how many people in our country will even sell their house? No, in our country people don't sell their house that much. In our country, the house is everything that signifies that they have arrived, that they are rich. And so most people's understanding of money is off the street. It's very weak. It's very, very, very weak. So the things that we borrow to waste money on, people borrow to go and do funeral for somebody who is going. If your parents died and they did not give money, don't go and borrow to do the funeral, unless you are sure that the borrowing that maybe you are borrowing 10,000 to go and do the funeral. Unless you are very sure that by the time you finish the funeral, you have 20,000, so that you can pay that 10,000 and have maybe 20,000. Then that is a business. But most people, if they didn't leave money, the little you have, do the funeral like that. You don't have to put yourself in bad situation, going to borrow because you think that people will talk. People will talk, but you don't have the money. Or if you're going to name your child, people even borrow money to go and do outdooring. What for? You only borrow to do something that thing will pay it back without sweat. Without sweat. You borrow to build businesses, you borrow to do projects, you borrow to build houses and rent them, and you know that based on your mathematics, that rent will pay that debt off quickly. And for your information, our real estate is still not that very good in terms of the interest rate. It's not sustainable. And so if you're going to borrow to go and build a house to rent, do your maths well. 30% is too high. In the economies that they borrow they borrow to build real estate investment and portfolios, their rates are very low, very much low, and you are not even doing that 100%. They take them just a certain percentage, so maybe they take just 10-15%, very cheap rate, and then they start to build something out of that. Here, if you want to build a house and you are using 100% of your money or rent or loan to build that house, and you want how it will take you maybe 10 years before you get that money. So if you were to invest that money and you were to maybe even put it in treasury bills, you will see that treasury bills would have had a lot of benefit from it than you just building an apartment with your own physical money. How much more when you go to rent, when you go for loan, because that loan is what percentage? 30%. 30% is so dangerous for you to go and borrow and say that I'm going to build an apartment with it and do mathematics and make way. How much rent can you take? And how sure are you of the occupancy rate? And so some of these things you just have to look at the numbers well before you even go in, because people have gone into real estate and they did not study the market well, and they have locked all the capital, or they have created a mess on the investment. They went for loan. Nobody's renting that house or nobody's buying that house, and it is a nightmare for you because you did not sit down to do your calculations well. And so when you're making some of these decisions, do them well. We have had our fair share of all the troubles, and some of them maybe they are not that trouble. There are also some successes that we also enjoy. So financial education, good debt and bad debt, study them. Bad debt is the one that you are using that nobody will pay for that debt. You take debt so that the business, some people will pay for that debt. If you are to sweat to pay that debt, that is not a good debt. Study it again, and don't let them coerce you or push you. They said, "Oh, government worker, come and take this money. You go and buy land," and some people go and take loan to buy land. If you don't have 70% of the money to build that house, you don't need that land. Even if you're buying that money with your money, if you're buying that land with your cash, let's say they are saying that the land is 4,000 or 10,000 in a very far area, then you go and use your 10,000 to go and buy that land in Accra, and then you are going to wait till you raise another money to go and build that house. By the time you raise that money, somebody would have sold that land again, or you would have fought everybody to keep that land. It doesn't worth it. You would rather want to use that 10,000, grow it. So by the time you start building that house, at least you have maybe 50,000, so that you buy the land 10,000 or 15,000, you have money to start something on the land. In that case, it makes sense. You would have at least secured that land. But even that, what do you have to use 5 years, 7 years, 8 years to build one house? That's a bad financial decision. That is really debt that you're creating. And all along, that's how they do it here. People don't build houses within a year or 2 years. They just build houses after 3 years, 4 years. And if you look at it, the first 50,000 that you put in that house, if you were that scaled, you would have made a lot from that 50,000. If you were trading, or if you're doing business with it, or even if you had invested it somewhere which was good. And so our financial education, based on the culture, based on the environment that we have now, is weak, and that's why we keep on creating a lot of poverty, because our choices with money don't make sense. Don't make sense. You are going to take money from the bank to go and do funeral, go and marry, go and buy a car. It's not by force that you have to have a car. If it's your money, then maybe you buy that. But if you're going to rent, if you're going to take 30% from the bank, you don't need that. And yet they are telling us they are everywhere. Even contractors or business people who take loan, a lot of us don't even do the mathematics well. You don't do the mathematics well. So, oh, this project will pay. So, you know, we're ambitious, we want to make money quick. So we go and take 500,000 from the bank, 30%. So no problem. The contract is, if you do your figures well, for you to do a project and get 30,000, 30% a year, you have to be a genius. Yet the debt that you are taking is 30%. Meanwhile, your profit is around 10-15% on a project, which means by the time you sign that agreement, you have created a mess already. By the time you start to use 1 penny out of that loan that they gave you, you would have created a mess. Why? Because it's not sustainable. 30%, 40% is not sustainable. But because we're naive, or we are overambitious, or we just syndicated with somebody, that a rare project that should give you 30% is probably give you 200%. Which means that even that, we are compromised on our financial development, on our financial education. And so a physical project, 2-bedroom house that is, somebody said that go and build for them, maybe a government institution, you know, maybe the contract has to be 100,000. You know, because the system is screwed, and because you're cutting corners, you said, oh, they said, oh, no problem, this contract, you put it around 250,000. Now, okay, maybe give us 50,000, take the 200,000. In a typical scenario, that project should cost you 100,000, and so you must work within the 100,000 to make a profit. You know, so maybe you are going to use 80,000 to build the house, you know, and make 20% profit. Now, because the system is screwed and somebody else syndicated some things with you, they have pushed it to 250,000. They are taking 50,000. You are taking 200,000. And so you go to the bank, you go and take 100,000. You pay 30% on it, no problem. Because your figures are not rare figures. You just look it up and you're able to pay that debt. So next time, you think that you're a genius because you're able to syndicate with whoever and beat the system. And so you continue to pay. Now, if you continue to behave that way, it gets to a point you will think that you understand how you know, you think you trust in your financial wisdom. You trust so much because you think that you're a genius. Really, it's not because you're a genius, it's because you were lying and the project figures were not right. So anytime that somebody else comes to demand that they pay you the right figure, you would have created a mess. And if you are on that part where you are cutting all the corners, the other thing that you are becoming is that you are becoming weaker and weaker every day in terms of your financial education. You're not learning because you're screwing the system. And so a time will come that you are a big company, but your financial education is low. You don't know how to use debt rightly. And so you have bundled a poison and it will explode. So we would have compromised on our development because the system was not straight. You know, so that is how you don't learn how to use debt rightly. In that case, everything that you do will be about debt. And it will screw you all the time. It will screw you. Why? Because you did not go through the right processes. And so financial success, I think that falls more within entrepreneurship, within business, within taking risk. And if you go to any country, any community, that people are held responsible to be honest with their finances and with their revenues, with the sources of their revenue, how they make their money. If the people are right, if a lot of the people are right in terms of how they make their money, you see that the people who are solving problems are the people who are making money. And so you will not see the successful people in the country being the crook business people or the politicians or preachers. It will be people who are building companies, who are solving problems for the society, because financial success follows problem solving. productive problem solving, So if you live in an economy where people who are trying to do something well are the poor, it means that the system is screwed. And it also means that you have a lot of people who are poor, because it will also mean that people are not learning financially. And so over a time, our financial knowledge will be stagnant. And if financial knowledge of a group of people is stagnant, it means that you are going to create a lot of poverty. So when you hold the system rightly, you're going to produce people whose financial worth will represent the work that they have done. In that case, they would have to increase in their financial education for them to keep growing. And that's how you create prosperity for the nation. And so, but in an environment where corruption is prevalent, financial skills and financial knowledge is compromised, and that's why the masses will suffer. The other thing is that study debt and how it is used to create prosperity. Not every debt is bad. Debt is a tool that the rich people use, business people use, entrepreneurs use. You just have to know how it is used rightly. And so when they give you the loan from the bank, learn how to use it to multiply and grow your business. But don't go for the loan when you don't understand the business. Don't go for the loan when you don't understand what you're doing. You go for the loan when you have done a lot with what you have, and now you need it for a certain period, for a certain growth. And even that, go for the one with a limited or with a little interest rate. So you study the debt. Don't just write it off. People who are advising people and saying that debt is dangerous and everything, they have not done business. They don't know the figures. They just take free money. If you're doing business and you are learning the business well, you will know how harsh it is for you to have a project that you cannot raise the insurance on it. You're having constant financial difficulty, cash flow problems on a project which is good. It's so dangerous. You know that the guys, when you work, they will pay, but your cash flow is erratic. You need a backup from a bank. That is not a bad debt, because you have done your numbers and you know that you are making 30-40% on this project. Why should you let the cash flow kill the project so that they take the project from you? You will need a bank support. You will need a credit line. You will need something from somebody so that you can finish that project. You can finish that project and grow your business. And so it's a skill that you get to grow, to learn. And so when they give you, if you have a project and they give you that money, that's not the time to go and buy Land Cruiser, or to go and buy pickup for engineers, or to go and build an office, or to go and marry 3 girls to tell people that you are rich. No, you get the discipline to cross that project, and then you can spend a little from your profit. It means that you're learning how to use debt to build wealth. But if they pay you and you are the showman, some people even go to church and pay the tithe out of the loan that they gave them. That's so dangerous. You don't pay loan. You don't pay your debt on a loan, tithe on a loan. A business person, study the thing well. That is sheer ignorance, weak financial knowledge. Financial success is not magic. It's not a miracle. It's right decisions. We live in a part of the world where they have told us that somebody else will raise their hand and pray for you, then you'll be prosperous. And so people don't take their time to study. You don't take their time to study the finances well and study the processes well. And so the rich understand debt differently. When you have trouble, that's not the time to be taking money to somebody. You solve the trouble first. So if your business has debt, if your business has loans that is struggling, when they pay you, go and pay your debt. Don't go and pay the pastor, or don't think that God will come and solve your debt for you supernaturally. It doesn't work like that. Build your business. The people who control big wealth, it's not supernatural. You can see what they did to create that wealth. You can see it. You can see that I'm going to build business. You can see that these guys are building their banks, they're building their factories, they're building their retail, they're building everything. They are solving problems. That's why they have money. It's not magic. So take that thing from your mind, that when somebody prays for you, some pastor will declare something and then you become rich one day. It is not true. We are just entertaining ourselves. And we have entertained ourselves for 50 years, for 30 years, for 100 years. We're still entertaining ourselves. The results prove otherwise. That diligence is what creates wealth. And our right understanding, our right financial knowledge, how we use these things. Most people who are teaching you how to get money have never tried business. Most people who are telling you finances, they have never tried business. If you have tried business before, you will see that it's not a joke. So it's a tool. It's a tool. Just as somebody gives you project, somebody must give you money to grow your business. And that person could be a bank, that person could be your customers, that person could be your client, could be anybody. But business is grown. Just as your business does not create the business itself, somebody has to give you a project or somebody has to come to buy from your shop. The same way, somebody somewhere would have to have you the money to grow the business. So you study that, and there's nothing wrong with it. That if you have a project, you go for that, which you make sure that when they give you that loan, you pay. And the profit, you use it to grow your business. It's a skill that we all have to learn. It's so dangerous where you have a business, you have clients, they are calling you, and you don't have money to deliver. You don't have money to deliver. So we are not talking of people going to for loan to buy a phone and buy nice furniture in their room or doing their wedding. Those are not those kind of people will never see wealth. If your understanding of loan is to go and take it so that you can go and bury your mother in the village, you have no understanding how to create wealth. If your understanding of money is just go and buy another nice car and use 3 years to pay that car, you have no understanding how to create wealth. If your understanding of money is just to go to that bank to go and take some money to go and build a house, you have no understanding. To live in, you have no understanding how wealth is created. You will not be independent. You cannot. Debt is a tool that the rich use to expand their wealth, to grow their wealth. And so it's a tool. You just have to learn how to use it and use it well. So consumer debt is self-destructive. Okay, self-destructive. And you all know consumer debt, the things that they give you the loan, you buy it, and you spend it on yourself. You are the end user of that which you use loan to buy. You don't use it. If you made those mistakes, clear them, correct them, and don't continue to use that, because you work all your life and you will not see anything. You will not see any improvement in your life, because that is a wrong tool. The word celebrates. The word is together when it doesn't have to do with your financial freedom. Anything that will make you liberated, the word will not just push it on you like that. The word will strangle you. The word will push you away if you decide to fight for your financial freedom. They will push on you. They will create a lot of inconveniences, a lot of disagreement. They will tell you that it's not true, it's a lie, you cannot be rich, you cannot be that. They will tell you all the time. So go for the debt that will make you successful. That will make you successful. That will create a business, and the business should be able to pay that debt and for you to get some profit. Learn it, it's a skill. And so use debt through business to create wealth. That is when the debt and its interest can be handled, by the business itself or on the project, and then you can have some benefit. You grow. All these big banks and big companies that you see around the world, they all use it. It's a tool. It's only the poor that they told you that is wrong. All the big companies that you see around the world, every one of them, go to all the banks. Even the banks that are giving you the loan, they went for it themselves. They went for loan. They came to give you, and they are continuing to expand, because they are not using it themselves. They are using it to expand. When you see Dangote building the factories, you think what? You think it's his business, it's money? He went for investors' money. But he knows how to use it to create the wealth. He knows it. So you learn it in your level. You learn it in your stage. You study it. Study it. Read about it. And do it gradually. And when somebody gives you 10 cedis to put it in your business, and you made 50 cedis, go and pay that one. Don't keep it. Be honest, and if you have a problem, tell them that, please, I have a problem, but I will work to correct it. And never forget anybody that you owe. Even if it's 5 years that you have to pay them, pay every one of them. Sometimes if you have to sell everything that you have, sell it to pay them. That way, you are learning how to create wealth. And so when there's a problem, you are not the one to run away. People will trust you. Never, no matter what, never take people's money for granted. Don't lie to people. It could be inconvenient. It could be a problem that is beyond you. It could be somebody who didn't pay you the money. It could be anything. Don't worry. Once you get the money, go back to pay. Go back to say that, thank you. I'm sorry I delayed your money. I had a lot of trouble, but now things are okay. So I'm paying you this. And this is left for me to build my business. Even if they don't want to see your face, go and pay. We just have to let our people understand that debt is a tool to build business. So don't go and take money from the bank and close the account and change your address. You are screwing your future. You're not cheating the bank. You're just screwing your future. You don't know what it takes to build wealth. Because genuine wealth is built on trust, on integrity, on honesty. Genuine wealth is not built on corruption. You will never see anybody with consistent wealth who can show his books to anybody, which is built on dishonesty, which is built on lies, which is built on running away with the country's money, which is built on cheating people, cheating your workers, cheating everybody. That means that you have no financial knowledge. Because money is so volatile. It's like gas. When you start to cheat people on money, it's like you bringing fire to a gas. It will explode. It's just a matter of time. It will explode. But when you build it with integrity, with honesty, learn it with truth, it's like you taking the fire out of the gas. Then you can use the gas rightly. So if they didn't tell us, we just have to learn how to use it. Don't take bank money and run away. Don't take your friend's money and run away. Don't take your mother's money and run away. Yes, sometimes, depending on the business, depending on your development, depending on how the business is, you will meet problems. And sometimes you may be misunderstood. You may be, they will talk to you like you are a liar and everything. But keep it in your book. Write them down. Go and pay them. It is one of the best financial education that you can have. To be honest with people's money. Go back to say that I took your money. I'm sorry, this is it. And if you don't have it, test them. Tell them that you are working on it. Tell them. And every time that you have something small, send it to them. Even if they are not happy. Continue to do that until you start to see the things that you're doing rightly. Because at a point, you will start to see money. If you don't give up, at a point, your business will start to make sense. At a point, you will create wealth. Market somewhere. It's not magic. It's not prayer. It's not miracle. If you continue to go at it, stay at your business, become better, be honest with people, be honest with your client, be honest with your employees, be honest with yourself, continue to grow. If you make mistakes, correct them, continue to grow, it will explode. It will explode. And it will shock you. Like, wait, so how did I get here? You got there because you're consistent. You're consistent. So this is what they have to tell us, that debt is a tool, and it's a good one. If you're building business, you have to know how to use it well. Even if you have a lot of money, just learn it. All these big money, these big companies around the world, go through their books. They have so much surplus, but they still use it. They still use it. So it's a tool, just like you having customers or having clients or having employees. Is a tool to business. You just have to know how to use it and use it well. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for watching. Thank you that you took time to look at this and learn it well. Thank you very much. God bless you.